I'm gonna have to go make some. Okay, so everyone take out your digital devices and your headphones. We have an awesome guest speaker. It's so awesome that when I first heard Dr. Sandoz talk, I was like, the visuals were exciting, the animals exciting. It kind of made me want to become a vet tech. Not the veterinarian, because I can't stay on the side of the blood, but to help, okay? So anyway, I'll go make copies of this really quick, and then Mrs. V can introduce our speaker.
Okay, our speaker today is Dr. Shari Sandoz, and she is a mixed animal veterinarian. Good morning, almost afternoon, everyone. How's everyone today? Good. You're almost done with school. When's everyone done with school? How many more weeks? 2? What? Well, happy early birthday. So, I'm Dr. Shari Sandoz, and I am a general practitioner. So, does anyone know what mixed animal means? Is what? Kind of. Mixed animal means I can work on about any animal that anyone brings me. So whether that's a dog, a cat, a tiger, anything that basically I have a general knowledge of all the species or every animal. So this was actually a tiger in vet school that we neutered. It belonged to a circus. And he is about 6 to 7 months old is when we neutered him. He was a Bengal tiger that was gonna go on the road on the circus. We also worked on another tiger that was a white tiger that belonged to the St. Louis sanctuary. He was an older tiger that got a lung infection. And so we actually had to put tubes in the side of his thorax or in the side of his chest and drain the fluid off his lungs. And he's doing quite well, but that was the second tiger, another tiger we got to work on. So why did I choose this career? I actually knew when I was 8 years old that I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I proceeded and succeeded on being a veterinarian. When I was 8 years old, my dad had a cattle herd. And at 2 in the morning, he said, we need to go take this cow in because she's having trouble having a calf. So in the middle of the night, he woke I up. He also woke my sister up, which is Marcy. So we could take this cow into the veterinarian. When she got there, she actually needed surgery. And our older brother, who was a senior in high school, also was with us. And the veterinarian who actually wrote this book was the veterinarian that was a vet that night in our hometown. And I know him very well, very good mentor. He's actually a renowned horse vet. He is well known for working on horses. He is still alive and actually up in his 80s and still loves to do horses every once in a while. He was a vet on call, and he told my sister and I, Marcy, said, if you don't like blood, you can go sit up front and wait for us to be finished. And I thought that was like, no way, this is cool. So as we proceeded with the surgery, we all got to stand in the back. There was one little drop of blood, and we heard a crash behind us.
Sorry.
My brother, who was a senior in high school, has fainted. Just like the brick in this building, he hit his head on the brick wall and knocked everything off the wall, and it knocked him out. So my sister Marcy and my dad took him to the human hospital, and I stayed and helped the veterinarian, Dr. George Baker. So you can pass this book around and look at it, but he's wrote a book about his life as a vet. And I stayed and helped him, and from that point on, I knew that's what I wanted. This is what I wanted to do for a living. So you guys can pass that around if you want to look at it. But that's Dr. George Baker. So if you want to be a vet, how would I just call it a vet? It's actually a veterinarian. If you want to be a vet, what would you do now to prepare yourself? One thing is study hard right here in these classrooms and get good grades.
This would be number 3 on your sheet, freshmen. So you might want to write these down.
Because good grades are extremely important to help you get into vet school. Because it's pretty actually hard to get into vet school. It's very competitive, so good grades will help you tremendously. Another good thing is if you have pets, keep a journal of how many times you feed your pet. They have contact with, whether it's a cat, a dog, a ferret, a guinea pig. Every time you feed it, write that down in a little journal, because that's going to help you get into vet school. Surprisingly, every contact animal counts towards vet school, whether you're in 3rd grade or whether you're 17 or 18. It's going to help. Another big thing in life is that's going to help with any scholarship, any application. I'm 35 years old and am filling out a 50-page application right now to pay my student loan back. And volunteering in my community is huge on the application right now that I'm filling out. And I've been a veterinarian for 7 years and is still doing scholarships and still doing applications. And so it's very important to volunteer. It will help you tremendously in life and in your community, and it'll help you go far in life if you volunteer in your community. Education. So what it takes, it actually takes 8 years to do what I do for a living. Total, you can go beyond that, but 8 years, 4 years undergraduate, you can go anywhere in Nebraska or anywhere out of state and get a bachelor's. They highly recommend you have a bachelor's degree. I got mine in biology with an emphasis in chemistry, even though I don't know much about chemistry. It still says I know something about chemistry. But you can get it in animal science. You can get a degree in about anything, but you really need to have a bachelor's before they will accept you in vet school. Then you go to 4 years of a veterinary school. I personally attended the University of Missouri and loved it. And so you can pick any vet school. There's actually only 26 vet schools in the 50 states. So there's 26 vet schools in the United States. There's a few in some islands, St. Kitts and stuff, but they're harder for us United States people. So it's kind of limited on vet schools. It's a little complicated to get in, but everyone can do it if I did.
Nebraska does not have a vet school. So you either go to Missouri, Kansas, or Iowa.
Yep. Now we have a dual program. Like she
sweet.
said, I'm added to that. So if you go to the University of Lincoln, you go 2 years at Lincoln. Once you get accepted into vet school, you stay 2 years in Nebraska, and then you do 2 years of your final schooling at Iowa for more of an
What a
animal
great
contact.
idea. I didn't know that.
So, but when I applied, why I attended Missouri is because they cut all the in-state agreements, and Missouri actually gave me in-state tuition, which is huge. So there's a lot of choice on where you want to live or where you want to go to school. So don't let that deter you, because there's a lot of states you can go to. So if you notice in this picture, there's not that many guys in this picture. When you start looking at all those ladies, you pick a few guys out of there. I graduated with 65 in my vet school class. Of those, there were only 7 guys, and 2 of them wanted to practice large animal. Large animal meaning cows and horses, which I love to do on a daily basis. But only 2 of those men wanted to do large animal. A lot of those women are doing large animal. One's even an equine surgeon that I know, but a lot of the guys even are small animal surgeons. So it's not limited to guys and gals. Us gals can be small but mighty, so don't let that deter you. Here's a degree, my actual degree. It's actually huge. It hangs on the wall. It's about this big, because when you accomplish a doctorate degree, it's a huge accomplishment in life. So don't be afraid to display it. So if you want to specialize, so you go to the 8 years of schooling that I did, and then if you want to go on, say you like eyes in humans, but you really like animals, you could be an ophthalmologist for animals. That's the study of eyes alone in all the species. If you like surgery, you could be a small animal surgeon. You could be a large animal surgeon. If you like exotics, you could just work at a vet or at a zoo and be their veterinarian for a zoo if you like exotics and study a lot of different stuff. There's also, if you don't like the just normal checking animals out, you could do research. You could teach. Who do you think teaches the vet school and taught me everything I know was a professor and a teacher for veterinary medicine. That's academia. Or you can work in a lab setting if you like rats, mice, snakes, anything in particular. You can study and help benefit others by learning new diseases and upcoming research on lab animals is another field. How many of you people ate breakfast this morning or had something to eat already today? How many people ate?
Oh, that's not good.
I did. You guys didn't eat breakfast?
Cheerio ate
Cheerio ate. She had food. She ate. She's answered. You guys didn't eat breakfast? Wow. Well, who do you think is going to inspect the lunch you eat today? Who made sure it was safe so you could eat it?
The birds, no.
Who do you think inspects what you ate for lunch to make sure it's safe for you to eat it? A veterinarian is the number one person who is highest, just put it on your lap, is the highest on the list to actually make sure the meat, the eggs, everything you eat is safe.
You could write that down for number 6.
A veterinarian's job. So most all the food we eat is inspected by the food service, a food inspector, which is a veterinarian. He is the highest on the list and is basically the manager of all meat packing plants and everything. He has the final say on inspecting all meat, eggs, anything, chicken. So, and even fruits and vegetables too, everything. So, there are veterinarians all over the world. There's animals all over the world. There's food in all over the world. So you can, if you want to be a vet, you can work anywhere in the world you want to. I have a great friend that works in Australia, and she sees all kinds of different species than what I do. So you're entitled to do and work wherever you want. If you don't want to go to quite 8 years of school, there are other things, there are other careers you could. People dear to my heart and that help me out tremendously every day is technicians that work underneath me. I still let them put catheters in. I still let them administer fluids. They can give certain shots. They can't give the rabies. Legally, I have to, but they can, if I'm out in the country on a call, they can get an IV started in the animal to help it until I am there. Usually we have someone in-house that's there when an emergency arises. But they help tremendously. They pack for my farm calls. They kind of keep me going where I need to go and can help me out a lot. So a veterinary technician only has to go to about 1.5 years worth of school, but they still are in contact with a tremendous amount of animals every day. So it's another career option.
Does CCC here have vet tech?
Mm-hmm.
I knew Norfolk did.
Norfolk does, Curtis does. I think they're online classes through CCC, but yep.
If you're interested in that, freshman,
yep,
those are some places.
Yep. And dog walkers, groomers, things like that are also available. So what do I do every day on a daily basis? Excuse the pictures, they're a little gruesome, but it's what I do every day is I do emergency surgeries if the dog has a broken leg. I might just do typical exams half the day. I might just go out just like humans and little kids need vaccinations to keep them healthy. The same thing with cattle and horses. They need vaccinations to prevent disease, for them to get infections, from them preventing them from getting respiratory problems. So a lot of it's preventative that I do on a daily basis, but I might work 400 head of cattle in one day. I may do 5 surgeries in one day. I may do 10 surgeries one day. It's never the same. That's what I love about my job. I never know what I'm going to get into when I leave my house in the morning. So would I say my job is mentally or physically tough? They are very much both. The other day I had a bull. The most its weighed was 2,700 pounds in the chute. You think of me, I'm only 100 and some pounds. He weighed 2,700 pounds. So he was more than 2 tons, but even though I'm small, I'm kind of mighty, but we have special equipment that helps us deal with livestock, especially a big bull like him. He was a very nice bull, thank the Lord, but this was actually a cow, I believe here, just like we trim our nails, that's what I'm doing. I'm trimming his nails.
Is he like on this side?
So this is a special chute that sits upright, but then it has hydraulics that tip him all the way over on his side.
I didn't notice that before.
Yep, and so he's actually tipped, he's in a squeeze chute that the body drops out, and so his feet are right there at my level. So I don't get kicked, he's restrained, it's pretty awesome, where I can trim his feet and I don't get kicked or I don't get hurt. So it's pretty fun, but yep. Is my job fun? Of course, I love my job, and that is something to remember. I don't care what career each one of you picks, just love what you do and take time deciding what you want to pick for a career, because it's very important every morning when you wake up that you want to go to your job. You've got to love what you do. That's the most important thing of any job. You have to love what you do. And I absolutely love what I do. So just love what you do as a job. If you like technology, our career is very interesting because we get to work with a lot of technology. Does anyone know, for a piece of candy, what is that? What am I working with? What is that piece of equipment?
Dakota.
Right.
Or what do you think?
What do you think it is?
Oh,
What? I think I
isn't
heard
that
someone
like
say
a
that.
chicken's fever?
Michael said it.
What? Yes, he gets a piece of candy. Did
Yeah,
he get him a
okay,
piece of
okay,
candy?
sure, sure.
All right, so I'll show you where it is. Actually, everyone can have a piece of candy, but chicken has a piece of candy over. But that is a laser. A laser is a new piece of equipment out there. But what it does, it reduces inflammation, swelling. Like if we sprain our arm, it swells up. How a laser works, it reduces inflammation. So it decreases the inflammation by increasing the blood flow to it and stimulate healing. Here we're working on Patch. It's a dog. His ear has some inflammation in the ear because of an infection. You also see what Patch has on. What does he have on? Sunglasses. They're not actually sunglasses. They're called goggles. They actually are goggles. They say goggles. What they are, they have a protective lens. And you also see that we're wearing protective lenses because a laser will burn your retina and harm your retina. So anyone in the room, if I had a laser in here, would have to wear, the dogs have to wear goggles. A horse in particular don't have to, because horses are such a big area. We're not going to shine the laser directly in their eye. We actually just do it on their legs and things like that. So you can definitely see that he has goggles on, and we require everyone in the room to wear goggles or goggles. So that's, you get to work with a lot of technology, so that makes our job fun on a daily basis.
I think there was is it somebody in this class that wants to be a dog groomer? I was thinking, was it you, Vanessa? One of my classes, somebody wants to be a dog groomer.
Gotcha, yep. And I tell you what, I envy dog groomers. Even though I'm a veterinarian,
Yeah.
I envy dog groomers. Do you know why? Because me, I can give them a shot and make them hold still. That's one thing very interesting you got to remember about a veterinarian career versus a human doctor. How many times does your doctor tell you, hold still? If I tell Shari to hold still, she'd look at me like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You can't tell your patients to hold still. So we got ways of restraining dogs, and groomers are amazing. They have ways to restrain dogs way better than I could even think about restraining dogs. So they're very unique people. It is that is a dog groomer. Another thing about my job is dogs cannot tell you where they hurt.
Yeah.
So it takes a tremendous person to figure out, and you have to have a knowledge base to know what is wrong with your patient. Whether it's a cow, a horse, humans, we just tell our doctor, my knee hurts. You know, how would he know where our knee hurts unless we told him? So veterinarians are unique where we have to actually figure out what is wrong with our patient. What's the most satisfying thing about my career? This is actually me, believe it or not, is champion horses. How do you think they stay healthy? It's a veterinarian. Yep. So a lot of people love us and are very, love what we do and are so glad we're there. So that's one good thing about a veterinarian is a lot of people look up to you. You have a lot of success stories. You impact a lot of lives, a lot of clients, a lot of patients. I have a list, so many I can't tell you. of how many patients I've made well. I mean, it's a good feeling to me. It won't always go that way, but it's amazing how many lives you touch, whether they're dogs, cats, or the owners. A lot of owners, that's their family, is their dog or cat. Some older people out there, that's all they have left. They may not have their husband or wife, they just have their pet. That's their whole family. So it's amazing how much you can touch someone's life when you're a veterinarian. One of my favorites is dear to me. How many of you guys know horses? Does anyone know horses? Does anyone know what the NFR is in the World Championship horse barrel racing? Does anyone know what that is? Well, here is a world-renowned horse that I got to work on. So let me introduce you to Louie. All right, and this is Louie.
You guys watch this.
I don't make mistakes.
I do know how to do that.
This is a 10-year qualifier.
What a great horse.
And hey, 13-72.
Lisa, hey, here we are where we've been so many times before. And this time, it's got to be special. For one thing, you're closing in on $2 million. You're probably 50,000 away. Man, just a couple of nights and you can do that.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, that's just crazy numbers. But yeah, it feels great to be here. It's been a while, so in the Weird Circle, but yeah, thrilled to be here with you.
And I'll tell you what, the competition is really, really there. These young kids coming on, have you ever seen anything like this?
Just the sport in general, it just gets better every year. The race is so tight, it always is, but it's it's crazy to have it be 100ths of a second apart with so many girls each night, and it's awesome. I hope it's fun for the fans as well.
It is, for sure. And some of these gals, they get out and go to a whole lot more rodeos than you do. So you kind of cut down the number of rodeos and yet you made it anyway. Is that for you or for Louie?
It's for my family. So yeah, I really didn't start till the 4th of July again this year. So I was a little bit panicked to say the least, but I knew we had our work cut out for us and we had an amazing 4th of July and July in general. So yeah, it worked out. And I got to spend the month of June with my kids in high school rodeo and such.
Oh, yeah, that's getting pretty important in your family. And then you needed Grady to drive you around on the 4th from, he's right here with you.
Well, he's here with me, but let's see, during the 4th, I'm not sure where he and the kids were. They were going to some amateur rodeos, so I was on my own. But
They had their own agenda. Okay, Louie, how old is he?
Louie's 13 this year.
Wow.
13 and looks strong and good. Fastest time of the rodeo night by 100, something like that.
100th, yeah.
And getting faster every night. 3 rounds. Last night you placed. Tonight you win.
Yeah, I commend them for the ground conditions that, enabled it to be great, and everybody, I think, handled it well tonight, and whether you're at the top of the ground or bottom of the ground, that I think there was money won, so that's very exciting to know that you have that opportunity throughout.
Well, this horse is something special, and you know Louis very well. What are the idiosyncrasies? What are the, kind of the fun things that you've got to do to get him psyched up and ready to go?
It's more about keeping him quiet and focused on his job. But he's always psyched up, ready to go do his job. He's amazing. He loves his job. So I think that's what helps him do his job as well as he does. And just matter of keeping him happy, healthy, and ready to go each night.
You have to work on kind of being calm because he reads the excitement that you have and can get a little bit too high, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit, so just as quiet as he can be and conserve that energy. So yeah, it works out good. And my husband Grady's so super beneficial to us in the alley there, petting on him. So yeah, it works out great.
It did, for sure. Lisa, it's good to see you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hold it, you better pause it. Sandoz. Trying to use the.
Oh, yeah.
PCs. All right, so those are the good things about my job, and you guys got to meet Louis. It's amazing. No one else can probably say they met Louis. Well, we're over now, of course. There's not very many veterinarians that can say they come in contact with a world-renowned horse, let alone got to work on them. So, but you will come in contact with some amazing animals that you'd be surprised that aren't world-known when you're a vet. So. But there's also some drawbacks to the job. That's with any career. They're just challenges, but you can get through them. One is just long hours, some seasonals, not all the time, but yes, there is some long hours with any job, and veterinarians do also have long hours sometimes. You have to be on call, just like for Louis' deal. It was in the middle of the night when he cut his neck. And it was on the left side of his neck, and you can see it when he's running. He still has that scar there. Lisa will always know he cut his neck there, and I will always know he cut his neck there because there's a scar. But we were there in the middle of the night to take care of him, and look at Louis now. He has become a world champion since we sewed his neck up. And there's also elements of weather. Yeah, you might be a small animal vet, which would be awesome, where you can work outside when it's freezing cold and snowing and blowing here in Nebraska. But it's also nice to be able to go out and work on the cattle and the horses too, when it's 80 degrees out and it's such a nice day outside rather than sitting inside. The toughest part of my job, we are blessed in the veterinary career because we can say goodbye to animals and relieve their suffering, and that's called euthanasia. It's probably the number one toughest part of my job. I get attached to my patients or I wouldn't do what I do. It's called compassion. We can also get burnout, and that's called compassion fatigue, meaning you care for your patients and your clients way more than yourself sometimes. Because if we didn't, we wouldn't be in the field we're in as a veterinarian. You're caring for so many animals and livestock. But you also can get burnt out because you care so much. So that's one of the toughest part of the job. You have to be careful of that. But we are very blessed. You go to 8 years of school, so by law, you do have the right to know when an animal is suffering too much, and you can make the decision to put it down if it needs to be. But that's what 8 years of school gets you, is it does get you to be able to put an animal, relieve its suffering if you need to.
Is that an urn right there, Dr. Sandoz? You guys see that? You know what's in there?
Yes.
The ashes
Yep.
from
Okay.
a pet. It's called an urn.
Yep, it's called an urn.
I like that one. It's engraved.
And so some people, they've been part of their family,
Yeah.
just like a grave or a headstone. And there's not pet cemeteries in particular, and so people like to take them home and have them with them at all times because they've been there for. A lot of times, dogs and cats, just like someone else will introduce to you, they're part of your family. Just like a brother or sister, your pets become close to you. So some special talents it takes to be a vet is determination. 8 years of school is not easy. I'm not going to tell anyone that it's easy because it is a little tough. So that's one thing, you need determination to be a veterinarian. You also need compassion. To be able to do this and care for animals, you need a lot of compassion and you need to love animals. And how many of you ate breakfast, maybe text someone, talked on the phone, packed your bag? That's multitasking. It's a good skill to have to be able to multitask in order to be a vet. Because you might have a client at the front door wanting to talk to you, might be on the phone, you might have a technician asking you dose to treat an animal. You might be doing 5 things at once. And the vet world in my career is extremely busy. Every day I'm extremely busy. That's what I like about my job is I'm extremely busy. The most rewarding project as a veterinarian is back there. The little girl that can't wait.
She wants to say hi to her mom.
You can let her loose.
Okay.
Is Oreo. This is Cheerio.
Go get him, Cheerio.
Cheerio is my dog. She actually got run over by a pickup.
Oh.
And you can see it hasn't slowed her down too much. She is healed well. She'll every once in a while limp on that left leg, that back leg. But she broke her
Oh,
pelvis,
good.
as you can see. She had a broken pelvis. Worse, the pelvis is like a box. So when they hit it on one side, it usually breaks the other side too. Because we consider this her pelvis, and this is a box. So there's a fracture here, and it's not up here. It's a little shaded out of the picture, but she did break both sides. But it was a lot worse on the left side. But I actually was the one that accidentally ran her over. I also was the one, her veterinarian, to fix her. So you can tell she's healed well. She had determination just like I did and has recovered pretty well. But she broke her pelvis, but it's pretty miraculous. She's one of my success stories that she's doing quite well. If she wants to go fast and if you see her run down the hallway, she'll actually bunny hop and hop on those back legs when she wants to go fast. Or she'll pick up that left leg and just run on 3. So there are a lot of different things. They can do one with 3 legs, but hers was able to fix. So yeah, but you can see it doesn't bother her a bit. So, and that was 2 years ago.
You wouldn't have been able to tell. She just is a little
Yep.
runner.
You would know. And she is about 6 years old now. So small dogs tend to live a little longer than large dogs. Large dog, their lifespan's about 12 years or so on a large dog, where small dogs can live to 15 years or so. And that's all I have for you.
Tell about the different breeds of dogs, like what
Okay.
dogs known for.
So first of all, what kind of breed is she? What kind of dog is she? Good job, but what's a real name for a wiener dog? Dachshund. Yeah, dash hounds is what they're called. Yes. Now here's a challenging question.
Yeah, this is a good one.
What were dash hounds originally bred to do for us?
Like, you know, the Dalmatian, we kind of think of a fire department.
A lab, we think of hunting
Yeah.
birds or hunting dog. What were these guys bred for?
What did you say, David?
Very, very
You're
good.
on it,
He
David.
is
Another
awesome.
Andy
You
Krieger.
notice how she is short to the ground. So this is good. If you even think you want to do anything with animals, learn the breeds, learn their colors, learn their traits. What's that? They're bred to actually burrow in holes and fetch little animals like rats and moles and badgers out of holes. That's why they're short to the ground. That's what, but if she went outside, she would love to find a mole, a mouse, anything in the grass.
And she said we could hire this dog because where I live, we have these moles. Do you guys have these in your yard? Like,
Ground squirrels.
You hope you'd find the mice in here.
no, I don't see it. Actually, these are the ones that make tunnels under the ground in your yard.
Moles.
And they will dig a big mound, dirt. I'm hiring your dog.
No.
Cheerio, you're coming out this weekend, Mother's Day present.
She would love it. So yep, another thing is too, why you need to know the breeds is because there's a lot of diseases or conditions that a client will call you on the phone and say, hey, my dog's doing this. And first thing you want to ask the client, one is what kind of breed is your animal, is your dog? Because a lot of things will help you figure out by just knowing what breed it is. Because there's a lot of breeds that are associated with a lot of different conditions. Like when I think of weenie dogs or dash hounds, the number one I think of when someone calls me and says they have a weenie dog or a dash hound that's lame in the back end, what would I think of? Because this is the number one thing that could happen to Cheerio. What? Besides being running her over. It's a condition that weenie dogs, and look at their structure and how she's made up. We call that atomically made up. What's something about her versus any other dog out there? It's what?
I think someone set it up here.
She's longer. There you go. You got it exactly right. So she has a long back. And I'll put her on the table. Come here, Cheryl. Where'd you go? Come here. Come here. Let's show you. So she has a very, very long back, as you can see. So her back is right here. If you guys can't see, this is all her back, basically. Other dogs have a lot of shorter, what we call midsection. She has a very long back. So she is prone to what we call intervertebral disc disease. IVDD is what it's called. That means they can hurt their spinal cord because a disc can tweak, like we hurt our back.
Yeah.
They can do the same thing and it hurts their spine and it can actually make them paralyzed in the back end. So you tell people, one, I'm very conscious. I keep her at a healthy weight. She's actually an ideal or healthy weight. I don't feed her a lot of treats. I give her a special food. I watch what she eats because I don't want her to get fat. Because it does make them a little more prone to back problems, a lot more prone. Because she's carrying extra weight, it hurts her back. And so I'm not so, but you don't want to really let them jump on and off your bed if you have a really high bed, or on and off the couch, because that can hurt that can tweak their back or hurt their back. So they're pretty noted for back problems, but as long as you keep them healthy, you don't really have to worry about it. She actually runs around my farm. She thinks she's a farm dog. Don't tell her she's not a big dog. She thinks
She's not
she's
a German Shepherd or a
thinks
Lassie.
she is. So she thinks she's a very big dog. She actually goes riding horses with me and likes to ride on the four-wheeler, and she really thinks she's a farm dog. So we don't tell her any different.
Tell us how you check like a dog. Like
Okay.
if I brought a dog into the vet.
So yeah, if you brought me your dog in, it doesn't matter what breed. I work on cats, dogs, anything. We do a standard exam when you bring them in. So I kind of, as I'm petting and I'm talking to you, you might not notice things I'm looking for on your dog. I'm just trying to find things that are wrong. If it's normal, I just kind of look around, you know. But I'm looking at a lot of things that people don't notice that we're trained to look for. But we are, as we're talking to you, we're petting her, you know, I'm feeling if there's inflammation in her ears while I'm talking to her. I'm kind of feeling her gums, that she doesn't have any swelling. I kind of tip her up and look at her eyes in different directions and move her head, make sure she doesn't wince. She thinks I'm petting her, but I'm actually examining her, and I'm petting her also. So we look in their ears to start with. We check her eyes. I pick her gum up and look at gum color. She's really pink. She's not pale, so she's got good blood flow. Check the tartar on her teeth. We're actually dentists also. I do dentals on dogs every day. Horses also, we brush horses' teeth. We call it a float. So I brush horses' teeth. That's something I love to do, and not every veterinarian does. And that's the cool thing about my career. I can do what I like and not do what I don't like to do. There's usually someone else in my practice that likes to do the things I don't like to do, and I do the things they don't like to do. So it works out very, very well. You can pick and choose what you want to do and what you don't. So that's what's nice about my career. Then I kind of go, if I wanted to listen to her heart, if I would have brought my stethoscope, I put it right here behind her front legs. On every dog, it just sits right behind her front legs. And if you guys wanted to, you can come put your finger here, you can hear it beating. You can feel it. You can feel it beating through the chest wall. Not like ours, we can't feel ours.
Right.
But hers, you can feel it. You can feel it beating. And then I also listen to her lungs, which is right behind the heart, which would be right here in this area. That's called her chest, or her thorax is the more medical term. That just includes her lungs and her heart. If I wanted to do an x-ray of her abdomen, which is where her stomach, spleen, liver sit, that's called the abdomen. That's just called her midsection, which is behind her diaphragm and her lungs. She thinks I'm tickling her. And before her hips is what that is called. That's just called her abdomen, where I'd feel her tummy. And I do, when I'm talking to the clients, I palpate. I can feel her bladder if she has to go potty, and I can just palpate her stomach and things if her intestines are swollen up. That's where you'd find them. And then her pelvis and her hips are back here. Does anyone know what the top part of your leg is called? besides thigh, the medical term is called your femur. So between your knee and your hip joint, it's your femur bone. And they have femurs. It's the exact same thing. Actually, the body parts are the same. They're named the same on our dogs and horses, pretty much. They might just have plus or minus some parts. So, yep.
How do you know if a dog has a fever?
So a lot of times that's why I'm feeling her ears. Her ears may be hot if she has a fever. Otherwise, just like we do, we actually have thermometers that we can't always stick it under their tongue. It's
Try to bite it.
yeah, because they might bite it. But we have special ones that can check an ear. Otherwise, just like in humans, there is a rectal thermometer that we do on cows and horses and things like that that tell us what. So a human is 98.2, right?
Right, for your temperature.
Is normal.
Yep.
What's a fever in a dog?
Ooh, good question. Like if you get a fever, freshman, like with the
Say you're 100, 101.
you have an infection. What would the dog be?
Mhm.
What, Kenji? What did you say? 102?
Pretty close.
Wow.
Anything over 102.5 is considered a
Nice.
fever. And that's actually the case in a dog, a cow, and a horse. Ideally, they run the same temperature as us. If they're 98 to 100, that's normal. But if they're over 102.5, it is a fever in a dog. So, and a cow and a horse. So,
How many of you have ever had an IV, but gone to the hospital and they put an IV in? You two,
Yep.
3, anybody else? 4, anybody got 5? You got hit by a car. Oh, that's you're kind of like Cheerio.
just like Cheerio. Where would I have put an IV in Cheerio?
Or do you think dogs get IVs?
Do you think dogs get IVs?
Yeah, they could because they put in their leg.
Yes, exactly. But Cheerio's a hard patient because you know she has very short legs.
Yeah.
So there is a special technique. You actually grab their paw and roll it, and I only have that little space right there to put it in. Yep.
Don't you have to shave them first?
Yep, you kind of shave it, but if you're a vet, you don't always have to because you know how to find it. It's kind of like a human doctor, or you go to the Red Cross and give blood. They're pretty good at finding your vein, and they don't shave it, but we kind of know anatomy and where it sits and where it should be located, and we can actually feel it. So we don't always have to shave them in an emergency. It's a little more why they shave it in a dog is because it keeps it more sterile, keeps it more clean. You don't have hair in it, so that's the reason we shave it a little more than just because we can't find it. We absolutely can't find it too. They also have veins in their neck. And there's actually a vein on each side, and where you can draw blood if you can't need it. If I held it up, you could actually see it pop up and you could feel it. Yep.
Hey, let's take a vote on this one. How many of you guys think that animals can get cancer? Raise your hand if you think, okay, humans get cancer. What if dogs do? Raise your hand. How many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's 10? What's the answer, Dr. Sandoz?
Yes. And guess how many patients I've probably seen a week with cancer?
Ooh. Who's closest to the other treat?
10. I would probably just say 5 to 10.
Oh,
Nice, Maddie.
5 to 10.
Yep, you've had 20.
I'd say 5 to 10. Because there's a lot of different kind of cancers. There's bone cancers, there's blood cancers, there's all kinds of different cancers. So, hey, what other questions do you guys have? Who has pets?
Yeah,
What's the weirdest pet we got in the room?
yeah, that's a good one.
Marcy's got birds. Does anyone beat birds?
He is
Yeah,
a
we're
bird.
And a hamster. Anybody else?
Got a hamster.
You got a hamster? And I got a lizard.
I got a bunny.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet today.
What do you have?
What kind of breed of
A
bunny?
lizard.
A lizard. What kind of
Anybody
breed of
have a
bunny do you
bird?
have?
A parakeet?
Do you know? What color is it?
It's white.
White? Okay. I bet it's a Rex rabbit. Ask Marcy. Marcy actually had the champion rabbit
No.
at the county fair.
Spotted Rex.
It was a Rex. Anybody else have pets? Who has dogs?
I do.
What
kind of
kind?
dog?
I have a letter.
Okay.
Yorkie and a Chihuahua mix.
Gotcha. Oh,
Is that a
cool.
basset hound?
Yeah, they're similar. They can have back issues like she can. Pretty little legs. Anyone else?
What kind of dog do you have? A pit bull.
Pit bull, gotcha.
Corgi.
Cool.
I used to have a mix of husky and
Cheerio.
Cheerio.
Oh, cool.
How many of you want to feel her heartbeat?
Anybody want to feel it?
Okay,
And it's a little hard.
she'll show you, if you want to come up and go to Dr. Sandoz, she'll show you how to feel for it. Don't be afraid.
Get your, hopefully you'll be able to feel it.
If you want to feel the heartbeat, kind of know what to look for your own pets, she'll hold it and tell you.
I might be missing out on one, so I might be sick. Jesus.
Great dog.
Oh,
Aw, he's all
You
right.
like your face. Josh, you like No, they can't reach the toilet, that's the only good thing about it.
Yes, thank God.
But she loves it. She likes people. Yeah, but her nails just like what.
No.
Eat it.
I did.
It smells really good.
Don't get addicted, Maddie. Don't get
That's the only
addicted.
reason why I have it, because they taste really good.
Maddie, you're gonna get addicted.
It smells like the pencil stuff, but no. Love it. It tastes really good. I got this when I had a sore throat.
Don't get addicted.
So like, I got this the last like month, but I just started using it yesterday, and I have like, and I had after.
You were the